love about you in terms of speaking about the sport. You're like the voice of the voiceless. You speak what you say, you speak from your heart, and there's no filters. You know what I mean? One thing that does tackle me in terms of 2019, in terms of evolving the sport, is the terms of YouTube boxing. You know, we've seen KSI, Logan Paul. I mean, I don't know if anybody asked you about your opinion about it, but do you feel like it's gonna hurt the sport if this trend continues? You know, we have Jake Paul and Anson Gibb on January 30th on a DAZN card. You know, what is your...
All I care about, this is what I care about,
Okay.
and what I think is good for the sport.
Okay.
Is putting on responsible fights, competitive fights, responsible fights.
Correct.
Not fights that shouldn't be made. Not fights with guys that shouldn't be in a ring, with guys they're not ready for. Responsible fights. I'm not saying everybody has to, you know, go in there and fight Joe Louis, you know, or fight Mike Tyson. I'm not saying that, but if you have 200 amateur fights, guess what? I can tell you a little secret. You know how to fight. You don't have to fight a guy, you know, with one arm. You don't have to. What's it going to do for you? It's going to give you more confidence than you got from 200 fights?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You don't have enough confidence to know that you can handle. I know you still got to be taken along in steps. It's called progress. It's
Correct.
called a process. Through different phases. I get it. But you have 200, 300 amateur fights, 150 amateur fights. You don't have to fight a guy that shouldn't be in the ring with you to knock out in one round, or to make him submit because he doesn't belong in there. It's not that. I know we're all going to build the records. I know everyone goes through that. I get it. Build the records with a guy that you'll gain something from it. I'm not saying a 50-50 fight. It's not time for that. But I'm not saying 99 to 1% fight either, where the guy's got no chance. I'm saying take a fight where at the beginning where there's 60-40, where you got all the advantages, but the guy's got enough experience to at least bring something out in you, at least make you achieve something, learn something,
Correct.
develop something.
Correct.
And where there's less chance of somebody getting hurt or overwhelmed and chased away from the sport because they didn't belong in there with you. That's all I'm talking
There you
about.
go.
I'm not talking about being an altar boy, being a monk up in the hills, but we can have some common sense and some common decency about what's right, what makes sense, and the fans would appreciate it more because the fans are smart. They're not idiots.
Yeah.
They know when a guy with 200 amateur fights blows out a guy that had no amateur fights, that had a couple of tough man contests, that he shouldn't have been in the ring with him.
Yeah.
They know that it doesn't mean anything other than what it means. There was a mismatch.
Okay.
So as far as answering your question, this is what I'm for. I want more venues, platforms for kids to get experience. They need places, so the more places where you can get experience, I'm all for it, baby, because they need more places. They're limited. And then when they're limited, they have no choice but to take a fight as an opponent. I want to have more choices out there so somebody's only choice doesn't have to be as the B-side, as an opponent.
Yeah, correct.
So I want more venues. I want more clubs. I want more places, more promoters doing small shows where you can have evenly matched, proper fights. But what I don't want is irresponsibility.
There you go.
That's all.
I talked to Little B-Hop, Christopher Colbert, great young man from our program.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
One thing, you know, he's a future world champion. He's doing
I
the
think
right
so.
things. One thing that caught my eyes with him, he said that nowadays boxers in this generation are more focused about their social media following than their boxing skills themselves. Do you agree with that statement by now he calls himself Primetime, Christopher Colbert?
Yeah, the reason I know Chris when he started in one of my gyms that we started,
Flatbush,
that we
correct.
subsidized, the foundation, and in Flatbush. And you know what? I started those gyms and subsidized them for kids like him, to give them an opportunity. And then it's up to them what they do with it. I didn't care if they had one amateur fight or if they became a future world champ like him. It didn't matter. As long as they were in the gym, not on the streets. And they were progressing as people, as young men, learning things about themselves that they could depend on, that they could be better with in life. That's all. This kid had the talent, the mindset, the passion to take it further.
Yeah.
And he has. And I'm very proud of him. But you see that statement he made? That's why he's where he is, because he's smart.
That's
he's
correct.
not just fast. He's not just slick.
Yeah.
He's not just smart. He's not just got strength or hand speed. He's smart. He's a kid that gets it. He understands what's most important. That it is about your dedication to the sport, about becoming better, about concentrating, keeping your eye on the ball, about you, not someone else, about you as a fighter, you as a person, how you conduct yourself, how you control yourself, how you carry yourself. That it's what you do in that ring, what you do outside the ring. It's about that. It's not about posing on social media. Because at the end of the day, you can post on social media, you can have 1 million followers. But if you don't know how to fight, if you don't behave like a fighter, you got a problem. You got a problem.
There you go.
And Chris understands that.
Okay.
And he people should listen to kids like him.
Yeah. Recently, you know, they're about to announce it. Most likely, Canelo's going to fight Billy Joe Saunders 168. Do you think Saunders is deserving, or is there somebody else that could have fought Canelo? Because Saunders didn't look his best in his last fight when he fought in the KSI Logan Paul undercard. And
Saunders is getting the fight because there's connections. That's number one. He's with the promoter. He's a former champion. He's in the right spot. It can sell. They can validate it. It has credibility attached to it. Former champion, undefeated guy. You know, all of that stuff. That you can sell the fight as a credible fight. And look, Saunders is a guy who's technically pretty solid. He's the kind of guy that he's not as talented as Canelo. Saunders doesn't have any great ability in one area. You can't say he's super fast. You can't say he's a huge puncher. You can't say he's physically got a presence. But you can say that there's not a lot of things. There's not one thing he does great, but there's not many things he does wrong. He's pretty solid technically, and it's gotten him that in good management, good navigation, as far as picking the right fights, has gotten him to where it's gotten him to a damn good place, and now to a damn good payday. And so, does he deserve it? For those reasons, he deserves it. At the end of the day, I like Canelo because I think Canelo is physically better. That doesn't mean you always win when you're physically better. Because if you're technically better, if you're mentally better, you can beat somebody who's physically better. It happens all the time in this great business.
Correct.
All the time.
Correct.
That's why it's called the sweet science.
Correct.
If you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
You know?
You're correct.
So, but at the end of the day, I like Canelo, but I like him probably going to the body of Saunders because Saunders is going to be smart. He's going to try to use his legs. He's going to try to control the outside. So the one thing that doesn't move like the head does is down here to that belly that used to be big on you, which is very small on you, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. In terms of the management promotions, you hit right in the money. He's in the right team, a DAZN Matchroom. I'll be honest with you. When I heard about Eddie Hearn saying he wants to raise the price to $50 a month, I was like, this is outrageous. I'm
having a problem. You haven't heard? They got a problem, the zone. They're running out of money. That's like putting a red flare in the air. We got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. It's like they're shooting a flare up and saying, yeah, we got to raise money because guess what? They've gone through too much money. Yeah. They've gone through a lot of money. Their business plan hasn't worked out too well so far. Yeah. With the couple fighters that they signed up, they spent all kinds of money on Canelo, all kinds of money on Triple G, and they can't even get them in the ring with each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're never going to realize that money back. It's going to be hard. So they figure, hey, we're selling it for what was it, $10 or whatever?
Yeah, it started at $9.99.
Right. And then
$19.99 now.
$19.99, $20, whatever. And now they want to go to $50 again. Yeah. Red flare. We got a money problem.
Wow, that's crazy.
We want more money.
There you go.
We need more money.
There you go.
We did something wrong. We mismanaged our money. Yeah. Well, don't tell anyone.
No.
Make sure.
Yeah. In regards to ESPN, they're working along with Fox, Wilder Fury 2, the rematch. Do you agree when people say 1 million, 2 million pay-per-view buys the magnitude of this fight, this heavyweight bout?
It should be.
Okay.
I don't know. It should be.
It should.
Could be.
Okay.
I don't know that it's gonna be. I don't know because with ESPN, giving those 2 soft matches to Fury after they gave him $100 million. They gave Schwartz, which really shouldn't have been in the ring. But I get it. All right, they want to give him a gift for the first fight. I got it.
Correct.
And he gets knocked down 1. That hurts the credibility. Now people say, this is where he's fighting, and they start to move away a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a great fight with Wilder. But if Wilder was, the Wilder fight was to Southpaw, the fights they give him afterwards is the Northpaw. It's the other way. It's the other direction. It's giving them guys that are not competitive. Then his second fight with Wallin, it was more competitive.
Yeah.
But not that the guy was great. The guy was solid. It was more solid. He was a southpaw. He was a willing guy. He had a decent amateur background. And in some ways, I don't know that he exposed Fury, but he wasn't supposed to be that competitive for Fury. Those 2 fights, people have that in their rearview mirror. What they should have in their rearview mirror is the Wilder fight, the first fight, the great fight. Not fighting 2 lesser guys where some of the people might have kind of lost interest. They might have forgot about what Fury did. They might have lost a little interest. You know, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters. I love the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, I love them
I used
too,
to
yeah.
take my kids to them and I love them. But you were there for entertainment. You weren't there, you know, to see the Boston Celtics or the Golden State Warriors. You were there to see them play the Washington Generals.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Washington Generals record was 0 and about 8,000.
Wow.
That was they never won. When you put Fury in there, whoever came up with this genius campaign of how they were going to do it, I get it. You give them that money, you give them a couple of easy ones. But when you put them in there with the Washington Generals, people start to think you're the Boston Globetrotters. You start to think that you're the Harlem Globetrotters.
Wow, yeah.
And I love the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
But people are only going to pay $100 to see Curly dribble in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Or to see the great Meadowlark Lemon take a hook shot. And I love Meadowlark Lemon. And I love Curly. I love those guys. But that's just purely entertainment.
Yeah.
When it comes to a fight and people paying for pay-per-view,
Yeah.
they want to see a serious fight.
Correct.
That's what they want to see
Yeah.
now. Yeah, they don't mind, you know, Fury coming out there with the Apollo Creed uniform on and all that stuff. But when the opponent lasts a shorter period of time
Yeah.
than putting on that uniform takes longer to put on than getting rid of that opponent. You got a little problem. You're telling the audience something, and you start to lose a little seriousness. And I don't know how much of it they lost. And if they lost some of it, then it's going to diminish those pay-per-view numbers a little. Okay. Again, I say the same thing I said when I started this interview.
Yeah. And
the thing from my heart, from my mind, that I think is the right thing. It should do those numbers. I don't know that it will because of that. But I know one thing. ESPN has the platforms and Fox to promote the
Hell out
crap,
of it. Yeah.
the heck out of this thing.
Right, yeah.
And you got something called the Super Bowl coming up.
Correct.
And a lot of people watch that. And they're going to do commercials during that time.
And then college football too.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
And that's going to draw, and that's, so they couldn't ask. They couldn't ask for a better time to promote this fight.
Man. Lastly, I know you're a busy man. I'll let you go with this. What would it mean for Manny Pacquiao, 4 decades fighting, you know, for him to, let's say, close out 2020 and he defeats Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford late in his career at 41? What does that mean for his legacy?
That is great.
That is great?
That is really great. I already think he's great.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. Matty, you don't have to do that. I already think you're great. All right, kid? You really, 20 years doing this business, tough business, all the titles you won, the way you conducted yourself inside, outside the ring, as a human being, as a fighter, the way you've come back in fights, you're great. And what you did with Porter, pretty amazing. At 40 years of age, not Porter,
Keith Thurman.
Thurman.
Yeah.
You know, what you did with Thurman at 40 years of age, I know Thurman was a little off stride. You know, he had been away 2 years, and he had the one fight back. He didn't look good in that fight. He probably needed one more. They took for granted. We're fighting a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Don't take things for granted out there.
He made me a believer again. I had Thurman winning. Pac-Man just...
Listen, he's special. He is.
There you go. Before we let you go, can you tell all the fans that are not familiar with the YouTube channel? I seen your YouTube channel, great stuff. I seen the
thank you.
Wilder, Fury, the Lomachenko, great stuff. Where can we follow? Where can the fans follow you for your YouTube channel?
It's my podcast you're talking about. Thank you. It's a podcast. It's on YouTube. It's called The Fight with Teddy Atlas. If you put that in, you subscribe. It doesn't cost nothing.
There you go.
And it'll pop up and you'll get it.
Great stuff, guys. You can't miss it. Teddy Atlas, a man, like I said, the voice of the voiceless, speaks facts and speaks nothing but from the heart. Thank you, Teddy, again for your time, and thank you for delivering a great speech to the kids. And it means from the bottom of my heart, Teddy. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Teddy. Appreciate it.